Hi there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the THW NHL News and Rumors Rundown. My name is Jim Parsons. I'm here with thehockeyraiders.com. We've got lots to talk about when the NHL is concerned. There is training camps underway. We're right around the corner from regular season and preseason getting going here. There's a trade. There's some signing potential. There's transactions. There's COVID, pandemic, vaccine issues. There's all sorts of stuff that we're going to talk about, and we're going to get into that right away here. Just a quick reminder, though, if you want to follow us, you can do so at The Hockey Raider on Twitter. You can go to facebook.com/hockeyraiders. You can go to the YouTube page, or you can follow us at thehockeyraiders.com to get all of the news and rumors that we're talking about in these videos. Okay, so let's get right to it. First things first, there was a trade here this week. Logan Brown goes from the Ottawa Senators to the St. Louis Blues for Zach Sanford and a conditional pick. This is basically a trade of two different kinds. One, Ottawa needed to and wanted to move Logan Brown. Logan Brown wanted to go. And Zach Sanford coming to the Senators makes sense for them in terms of, a little depth signing. He knows what his role is. He'll be an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year. St. Louis, though, this helps them with their cap situation. It gets them under the ceiling that they need to be under, so this is going to be a good move for them. Whether or not Brown works out for them, he hasn't been able to establish himself as a regular in the NHL yet, but there is some potential there. So St. Louis might see this as a win-win both ways around. There's talk about the COVID vaccinations and who is going to be in camps, playing for teams, not playing for teams, unable to travel based on not being vaccinated. And a few names have surfaced. Tyler Bertuzzi out of Detroit, Josh Archibald out of Edmonton. There was also Duncan Keith, who did get his second dose and will be at camp here, although he will miss the start of it just because of the fact that he got his shot in the United States, then traveled back to Canada and needed 14 days quarantine. But there are other names that are kind of coming up here and surfacing as to who will not be at camp for certain teams. Some teams are revealing that information. Some teams are trying to kind of keep that under wraps, but we'll find out over time here. There's not very many, but there are a few, and it will affect some stuff as far as how many games they could play. For Tyler Bertuzzi, for example, he might miss 10 games for the Red Wings, whereas Josh Archibald could miss maybe 30 to 40 games for the Oilers based on travel schedule. So it'll be very interesting to see how these teams approach these players and what happens with their lineups and their rosters if these folks don't get their vaccination shots and can't play or travel in certain situations. Evander Kane news. Now, he was cleared of all allegations of gambling on games that he was involved in. Unfortunately, he's now suspended indefinitely by the San Jose Sharks, and a new investigation has kicked up from the NHL in regards to additional allegations from his ex-wife, saying that there were sexual abuse allegations, things like that, while they were together. It's an ugly situation. It doesn't seem to want to go away for Evander Kane. He will not be playing right away until they figure out what's what. But he did get cleared of the gambling allegations, so that's one thing, I suppose. But it's getting messier and messier as far as Evander Kane goes. Jack Eichel, that situation is not getting any cleaner either. The Buffalo Sabres stripped him of his captaincy this week, and now there's talk that he's willing to go pretty much anywhere. Now, he doesn't have trade control. He can't block a trade if Buffalo were to trade him now. That doesn't happen until next year when he does have some say in where he goes, but at this point, he doesn't care where he goes. As long as he's moved out of Buffalo, that's the stance here. He's pretty unhappy about the fact that they still won't let him get the surgery that he wants, but other teams are interested in trading for him and said that they will do so if Buffalo works in some conditional picks here. Unfortunately, they don't know, and they got to be okay with the surgery that Eichel wants too, and not every team is. So still messy, still no resolution, don't really know where this is going. But right now, all we know is that it's not pretty between the Buffalo Sabres and Jack Eichel, and it probably doesn't look like it's going to get any prettier anytime soon. Good news for the Toronto Maple Leafs. John Tavares will be in the lineup for their very first preseason game or first training camp game. He is ready to go. They want to get him right away so that he can get that first game out of the way. Austin Matthews is skating. He looks like he's doing okay. They expect him to be back for the regular season. He's ahead of schedule, so that's really good news for the Maple Leafs. And Ilya Mikheyev did deny that he had asked for a trade this offseason. He says it's not true. Dubas wouldn't confirm anything, but Mikheyev says he didn't ask. Brady Tkachuk news out of Ottawa. We don't know where this sits. There's Matthew Tkachuk says that his brother's not even close to signing with the Senators. The Senators say that it's not too bad. Pierre Maguire has said that there's been no acrimonious conversations. Everything is fine in that respect, but it's not done yet. The rumors of an 8-year by $8 million deal are out there. Don't know if it's going to be signed. It's not necessarily that Tkachuk is going to be holding out, but he might not be at camp, and he certainly won't be in the regular season if a deal is not done. So we're still waiting to see where all this lands, but Brady Tkachuk may or may not be close with the Ottawa Senators. Nobody really knows at this point. It's really hard to tell. Vladimir Tarasenko is going back to St. Louis. He was not traded in the offseason. He's going to put all that behind him. He says he's good to go. He's prepared to be a St. Louis Blue. And it's just going to be a matter of him getting along with teammates and the training staff, coaching and management. Should be fine. But he might still get traded. Just could happen later. We just don't know. And right now, it doesn't look like it's happening. The ask, there was no market for Tarasenko, at least not what they thought was going to be out there. So he's going back to St. Louis, and he's prepared for that. He's ready to go. Unfortunate news in Pittsburgh, though, is Evgeny Malkin is going to be out for a couple months after surgery. Sidney Crosby's not going to be ready to start the season. They've got goaltending questions in Pittsburgh. Doesn't look like it's going to be a very good start for the Penguins. They're going to have to do this by committee. But yeah, Malkin's going to be out for 2 months, and that's going to be very iffy for the Penguins as far as their future or their start for the season goes anyway. All right, guys, that's going to cover a bunch of bases here this week, but we'll do some more next week as well with the season getting right underway. Don't forget, check out thehockeyraiders.com for all the news and rumors and stories on all of your favorite teams. Don't forget, check out the other videos on YouTube as well. Listen to the podcast. There's tons of great stuff going on with the Hockey Raiders, contributing staff and everything else that's happening. We'll talk to you next week. Enjoy training camp. Enjoy preseason. Hope you guys have a great one. Talk to you soon.